In the world of distributed systems, a fundamental truth is this: failures are not an if, they are a when. Network glitches happen, servers crash, disks fail, software bugs appear. A robust distributed system isn't one that never fails, but one that is designed to handle failures gracefully, recover quickly, and ensure data integrity. This is one of Apache Kafka's greatest strengths. Today we'll explore how Kafka intelligently handles various types of failures and recovers, ensuring no data loss, high availability and minimal downtime, and automatic recovery. This lecture ties together many concepts we have learned, including replication, ISRs, the controller, and consumer groups. Let's see how Kafka embraces chaos and emerges stronger. Kafka isn't just lucky. Its resilience is built into its very architecture based on these key principles. Kafka runs across multiple servers or brokers. There's no single point of failure. If one server goes down, others can take over its responsibilities. Data for each topic partition is copied and stored on multiple different brokers. This provides redundant copies. It's like having backup copies of your important documents in different safe deposit boxes. For each partition, there's always one leader which handles reads, writes, and multiple followers which replicate data from the leader. This keeps data consistent. Only those followers that are fully caught up and healthy are considered ISRs. This is the bedrock of Kafka's data durability during failover. In Kafka 4.0, the controller leader is the central brain that orchestrates all recovery, especially leader elections. Consumers explicitly track their read progress or offsets. This allows them to resume consumption from where they left off after a failure or restart. With these principles in mind, let's look at specific failure scenarios. Failure scenario 1 is broker failure or the leader crash. This is a common scenario. A Kafka broker that is currently serving as the leader for one or more topic partitions suddenly crashes or becomes unreachable. The controller leader, our cluster's brain, constantly monitors all brokers. It quickly detects that the leader broker is no longer sending heartbeats or is unreachable. The controller leader immediately initiates a leader election for all partitions that were affected by the crashed broker. Crucially, the new leader is chosen only from the remaining in-sync replicas for each partition. For example, your lead singer gets a sore throat mid-concert. The band leader, which is the controller, immediately signals to one of the perfectly rehearsed backup vocalists, one of the ISRs, to set up and take the lead without missing a note. Kafka clients, like producers and consumers, periodically fetch metadata from any available broker. They are notified of the new partition leader and automatically redirect their requests to the new leader. Because the new leader was an ISR, it already has all the committed messages from the previous leader. This ensures no committed data is lost during the failover. This entire process is very fast, often taking only a few seconds, minimizing application downtime. Failure scenario 2 is again a broker failure, but this time it's the follower that crashed. What happens if a follower broker crashes? This scenario has much lower immediate impact. The controller leader detects the follower's failure. If that follower was part of the ISR set, it is temporarily removed from the ISR list for the partitions it was following. The leader for those partitions continues to handle all producer and consumer requests. Data continues to flow. There is no immediate service disruption or data loss. For example, a backup dancer sprains an ankle. The lead dancer continues the routine, and other backup dancers keep pace, and the show goes on. When the crashed follower broker restarts, it will automatically connect to the cluster. discover its assigned partitions and begin fetching any missed messages from the current partition leaders to catch up. Once it's fully caught up, it will rejoin the ISR set. This highlights that replication factor greater than 1 allows for graceful handling of individual broker failures without disruption. Next failure scenario is controller leader failure. In KRaft mode, even the brain can fail. What happens if the controller leader crashes? The other controller eligible nodes in the KRaft quorum or committee constantly monitor the controller leader via heartbeats. They quickly detect its absence. The remaining controllers immediately initiate a new raft election process. They vote and a new controller leader is quickly elected from the remaining healthy controllers in the quorum. For example, the primary air traffic controller has an emergency. Another fully trained controller in the tower from the quorum immediately takes the headset and resumes guiding planes. The new controller leader already has all the committed metadata because of the replicated metadata log. It quickly takes over all management responsibilities, including initiating any necessary partition leader elections for brokers that might have also failed. This process is designed to be extremely fast, ensuring the cluster's control plane remains highly available. Failure scenario 4 is about network partition, split brain prevention. A network partition, sometimes called a split brain scenario, occurs when the network breaks, causing a Kafka cluster to split into 2 or more isolated groups of brokers. The problem is that without careful design, both sides of the split might try to elect their own leaders and accept rights, leading to data inconsistencies when the network heals. Kafka's solution is the quorum rule. Kafka's raft, KRaft consensus protocol for the controller and its ISRs for data strictly adhere to the quorum rule. A majority of nodes or replicas is required to make any progress. Elect a leader, commit data, make metadata changes. Alright, so if a network partition splits a 5-node cluster into a 3-node group and a 2-node group, only the 3-node majority group can elect a controller leader and continue operations. The 2-node minority group will cease operations until network connectivity is restored. For example, a company board needs a majority vote to pass a resolution. If the board is split by a physical barrier, only the group that still constitutes a majority can make official decisions. The smaller group is powerless until the full board can convene. This prevents split brain scenarios and safeguards data consistency. Failure scenario 5 is about producer failure, about retries and idempotence. Producers can also fail due to network issues, brokers temporarily down, or anything else. Kafka clients offer powerful mechanisms for such a scenario. For example, retries. So producers are configured to automatically retry sending messages if they don't receive an acknowledgement from the broker. For example, a mailman tries to deliver a package multiple times if no one answers the door. Idempotent producers, when idempotence is enabled, which is default in Kafka 3.0+, this is a key feature that guarantees exactly once delivery to the Kafka log for a single producer session, even if retries occur. Kafka assigns a unique producer ID and a sequence number to each message. The broker tracks the highest sequence number received for each PID, producer ID. If it receives a message with an already processed or lower sequence number, it discards the duplicate. For example, the mailman leaves a unique tracking number on the package. If he tries to deliver the exact same package, same tracking number twice, the recipient's system ignores the second delivery. This ensures that network errors or temporary broker unavailability don't lead to lost messages or, critically, duplicate messages in the Kafka log from the producer's perspective. And now our final failure scenario, which is the consumer failure. If a consumer application crashes or is manually shut down or becomes unresponsive, Kafka's consumer group mechanism ensures seamless recovery. The group coordinator broker detects the consumer's absence because that consumer stops sending heartbeats. A rebalance is triggered within the consumer group. The partitions previously assigned to the field consumer are quickly reassigned to other active consumers in the same group. KIP 848, this new protocol makes rebalances much faster and more cooperative, minimizing disruption to other consumers in the group. For example, a student reading a chapter in a group project suddenly leaves. The project manager, the group coordinator, immediately reassigns their chapters to other students. The new consumer instance or the reassigned one will automatically resume reading messages from the last committed offset for those partitions. For example, the new student picks up exactly from the last page the previous student marked as read. This involves a few delivery semantics as well. First, we have at least once. Messages might be processed more than once if a consumer crashes after processing but before committing its offset. And then we have exactly once, which is with transactions. This is achieved by making producer writes and consumer offset commits atomic, ensuring each message is processed exactly once even with failures. This mechanism ensures that all messages are eventually processed and that workload is always distributed among active consumers. Wonderful. So you now have a complete and practical understanding of how Kafka handles failures and recovers gracefully. This knowledge will serve you incredibly well in designing robust systems.